Hi, good evening to you. Welcome to Mike at Night. We always on around this time. Yes. I have a speaker that is on. Yes. Good to have you all on. Nice to have you all every week on. Let me see the number of people that we have on. Wendy Norton, good evening to you. Lucinda, Florence, Charmaine, Boyce, Precious, Boxil. Yeah, all of you all. We're just so happy to have you all on with us this evening. Alice John, good night. Good evening. Glenda Allen. Yep. Laurel Farrell. Good evening. All right. So this is Mike at Night. Here, do me a favor. Share the live. Share it with somebody. Just put it on your page. Just let's get other people logging in and being part of this great event. Tonight we have a very important topic: is gender, is violence. In any case, is it a gender issue? Violence, or is it just a people issue? So we're going to talk about that. Lamimi, good evening to you. Wenda, Jeffrey, good evening. Mel Jones, Candice Alexander, thank you all for joining in. Just share the live or call somebody and say, listen, join us. We have on the program today, we're going to show you some clips, and we're going to talk to you about the things that are taking place currently in society. It seems as though when we talk about gender relates more to women and excludes men. When we talk about equality, we talk about equality more leaning towards women being equal, but men not being equal. So we have a disconnect, a dissonance that we operate with when it comes to this. Now, this has nothing to do with condemning women. This has nothing to do with challenging women. We are just trying to share some realities and some concerns with the direction some women are going, that bringing down the name of the majority of women. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that this evening. We have on the telephone, unfortunately, we could not have him online because of internet challenges. We have Mr. Randall Fields. He is the president of Fathers Association, a man well known and highly respected in advocacy when it comes to men. We're going to be hearing from him. But first of all, let's make sure that we get some bills paid, and we'll be back and we'll introduce him. We'll talk about it. Let me also tell you that tonight's poll, we're going to be asking you the question: who does society support more, the man or the woman, or neither of them? Is there one of them that society gives greater support to? You're going to have the poll coming up. Good evening, and let's go to the break. We'll be right back.
In today's society, we need security that is trustworthy, reliable, and efficient. Rapid Response Security Services Limited is here to meet all your needs. Since 1990, this security company leads while others follow, with a commitment to provide satisfaction in service. We specialize in modern and professional security systems. Contact us at 639-3675 or 660-7418, or visit us at the Blue and White Building, Mount Mary, Scarborough, Tobago.
Double B Supermarket, 60 to 62 Government House Road, Scarborough, Tobago. All items reasonably priced, friendly staff. If you don't believe me, you call them, 639-5329. If you ask them any question, they'll tell you. Jesus is the answer.
Don't let the weather of the day dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.
All right, so welcome back. Welcome back to Mike at Night. As we said, we're talking tonight about whether violence has any gender. Is it really related? You know, we talk about we are against violence against women. What does that mean? Does that mean that we support violence against men, but when it comes to women, we don't? Or is it that we are saying we are against violence in all its forms? And some very heart-rending events have taken place in Trinidad and Tobago. For those of you who are outside of Trinidad and Tobago, you may not be aware. But we've had a situation of a man having chopped up his wife. He's a school teacher, and then he killed himself. The question is, what those students going through, knowing that this is their mentor, their teacher, having done that. We don't know the circumstances, so we're not even going to prejudge the situation. What does it do to the children of the home, the grandparents? And this is only just one out of so many incidents where we have people committing suicide in front of their children, committing murder in front of their children. What's going to happen years down the road? But we seem to think that is only the women are engaged, only the men, are engaged in violence. But I want to point out to you that the outreach that we need to make is not only for men. It really needs to be outreach to women and men. Women are not innocent in this whole aspect of the violence that's taking place. So we're going to show you some of the clips that we're doing now. I'm going to start with the clip where Randall Fields, head of Fathers Association, had to intercept a gentleman, assist a gentleman who was in a very dire situation where the woman that he was in a relationship with, they are now estranged. But in order to get information from him as her ex-boyfriend, she tormented their son to get it out. Violence. Let's go to it now.
Hey, Trinidad and Tobago, this is Randall Fields, President of the Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Here, as I said, with Mr. Ramesh Basdio, the father of the child that went, the video that went viral.
I know record nothing.
Okay. Why did you carry any woman in the beach house? Answer me. You carry anybody?
Roshni, where is the child for Roshni? Roshni?
Someday.
Roshni? Come on, you hit my child, woman's coming on the road. Roshni? Roshni, where are you doing, girl?
Answer me. We'll keep his mother.
The boy in the video is your son.
Yeah,
confirming that.
He's 4 years old, yes. Yeah, confirm he's my son.
Alright.
So that year now she started to cheat on me. She started to go to a man, not teach a man. I hear he's hitting my child too. He's abusive to my child too. Some last year my child come home and told me he choked him. I went to Shogun station make a report. It was during COVID time. The officer who I met, well, she reached the station before me. So when you know a woman wants to reach the station, police don't want to hear a man opinion. So
Okay. So what you just listened there was a conversation between a gentleman and a woman. It was on Facebook. This is the edited version. We had to block out the face of the child, and we had to now. In fact, the video eventually was removed from its raw state. But here's what the situation is. The gentleman went apparently to some beach house with his co-workers and probably a woman. The woman who he is no longer in a relationship with, supposedly, wants the information as far as who he went there with and whether he actually did go there. In order to extricate the information from the gentleman, every time she asked him and he did not answer, she applied blows to him. Those of you who saw the raw footage, that red mask that we put on it is really to just protect the boy. she would rain blows on that boy. This is the mother of the child. This is not somebody who is a step. This is the mother of the very child, in order to extort him, in order to be able to get the information, would rain blows in order to cause the man to recant and more or less abide by her instructions to give her the information. And this carried on for quite a while. The gentleman said that he went to the police station, but the woman, on other occasions, but the woman got there before him, because it's not the first time this injurious situation took place. And because we have a system apparently that if a woman reports something, it is believed, and a man who comes to report, it is not believed, they dismissed his report having heard from her first. And then this is what took place subsequently. I'm hoping that Mr. Randall Fields is going to be able to call us back. We had him on the phone. I don't know. I'm not hearing him again. So I hope that he's able to call back so that we can chat with him. So, and this beating went on. It is only because it was on social media that the situation came to life. And the man was able to prove himself, even though the woman had asked at the start of the video, "Are you recording?" And he said no. And that is what caused her to be able to operate in the way she did. I think one of the things that became challenging was the fact that she was held and released for investigation. Here's why we're asking if violence has a gender. If it were a man who was that, he would have been on the outside. He would be jailed even while investigations went on. But no, this is a woman who has done it. So they have released her pending investigation. There's another situation where a woman killed a man and she got bail. Yes? So this is why we are asking, does violence have gender? Does it relate to a gender? And our poll tonight, and I hope we are able to put up the poll. The poll is supposed to say, who does society, who does society support more? Men, women, or neither? You just answer that on your own. Veronica, good evening to you. Vera, Chris, Lindsay. Chris, good to see you on. Chris happens to be one of our sponsors, our proud sponsors, Toe School Center. Yes, AJ says the woman it is easy to work that out. It is the woman. All right. Carol, good evening. All right. So that's just one. Who gets more social support? Yes, support from the society, etc. Men, women, equal support, or you don't know? Any one of them, you make sure that you answer that. All right. So let's talk about that situation. Call me or send your message on the Facebook, or send a WhatsApp to me at 387-755-7. Yes, 387, I think it's 7553. Yes. 387-7553. Yeah, if you're outside of Trinidad and Tobago, you could send the WhatsApp by 868-387-7553. 868-387-7553. Let us hear what you think about that. And make sure you share the live. Let's go to video number 2. while we're waiting on you. Video number 2, we're talking about whether violence has agenda. Well, let's see. Video number 2. Here it comes in. This that you're just seeing here, apparently, from reports, there are 2 women who are officers of the law in a scramble. It is reported from those who claim to know. This is another social media shot. So this is public information. They both are married, from what I understand. And both of them fighting over a man that neither of them married to. Let me say that again. From my understanding, it is reported that these 2 women are married. They are uniformed officers. And they are both fighting over a man that neither of them married to, while both of them are married. So when we say that, toxic masculinity and all of these things that men, and rightfully we have our issues. So I'm not going to even try for us to escape the fact that we have some serious issues to deal with. But you can't deal with the men alone. You also must deal with the women. So when it comes to conferences and programs for men, we usually come up with these strange topics of toxic masculinity and things that make us have to discuss all the things that are wrong with men. But when it comes to a program for women, it is women in leadership roles, women breaking the glass ceiling, women in progress in business, etc. And that's the way to go. I'm not criticizing it. That is the way to go. When you're having a program for the women, talk about the things and the direction that they want to go and lift them up. But don't do the opposite for men. That we must now talk about everything that's wrong with men. That we cannot talk about some of the men. Today I saw a video of a woman saying that when you find a good man, back him. We can't be throwing out all the good men along with some of the bad men in the process. And I believe that wholeheartedly. All right. So just put your comments on the chat. Send me a text, please. Mr. Producer, did you put the telephone number across the screen? I'm sure you did. Edison Thomas said, Mike, you on my topic this evening, man. Thank you very much, Edison. Yep. I wish you would call in and let's chat. AJ, I think it's easier to fund women programs when compared to programs for men. Let me tell you, AJ, as to why it is easier to fund a woman's program than fund a man's program. And this is just my opinion. My opinion that because women's programs are part of international celebrations. United Nations have UN Women. They have International Women's Day. They have Girl Child, World Day of the Girl Child. They have women in science, and they have violence against women, and so on. So they have all of these international days. None of those days are listed in the United Nations calendar of international events. When a sponsor wants to come along, a bank or whatever it is, to sponsor something, they are going to look at the international recognized days, and they are more than happy to be able to put the money. Nothing's wrong with that. We're not criticizing them. We are just telling you the facts. So you can tell that, okay, then we have International Women's Day, and when they want to push breast cancer, they will back it and they'll put their funding, they'll bring in the corporate organizations and so on. But I challenge anybody right now, go to your Google United Nations International Days, or just Google International Days. November 19th is the day that we usually celebrate as International Men's Day. And somebody post for me what you see listed as the celebration or the recognition on that day, November 19th, on the International Days. Just post it for me and I will read it. Somebody just do that for me. The telephone number is 387-7553. 387-7553. Send me a text, send me, give me a call, or if you're calling outside, then yes, I see that somebody says on the text, women are more supported than men. Okay, thank you very much for sharing that. Women are more supported than men, says that texter. All right. Good evening. Having had first-hand experience with our justice system, it seemed to me that the female gets the preferred treatment. Yes. Okay. All right. That's the opinion of Charmaine. Let me see. Terence Regis, good evening. Having had, oh no, that was Terence Regis who had said so. All right. All right. Nice. Thank you very much for your input. Okay, this is what Josiane said she saw on the International Day for the United Nations. And this is what is listed according to Josiane, not me. Josiane says this is what is listed on November 19th, which is what we celebrate as International Day. United Nations has listed World Toilet Day. You heard right. World Toilet Day. That and all has recognition. Out of 100 and change international days, where you have at least 8 of them given to women and girls, not one day out of 100 and something days was allotted to boys or men. Easily, because it is not recognized as a day. Yes, World Toilet Day. All right. Gentleman, where his child's mother, they both have this child, and they ended up, she was beating the child in order to extort in father. It is still a court matter, it's still being dealt with. But this is what I'm understanding from listening to an interview this morning with Randall Fields. They gave it to the mother. But yet the mother is on the outside because, not the court gave it, I think it is the child protection, gave it to the father. Of course, they put things in place for protection of the child. They have given also restraining orders to the mother. not to go near the child, not to go near to the gentleman, etc. Why do we have to come to this? You can't fight one side, because if you fight for men only, women will rise up. If you fight for women only, men will rise up. We've got to fight for each other. That's where it has to be. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we go to another video that is heart-rending when it comes to violence and women.
In today's society, we need security that is trustworthy, reliable, and efficient. Rapid Response Security Services Limited is here to meet all your needs. Since 1990, this security company leads while others follow, with a commitment to provide satisfaction in service. We specialize in modern and professional security systems. Contact us at 639-3675 or 660-7418, or visit us at the Blue and White Building, Mount Mary, Scarborough, Tobago.
Double B Supermarket, 60 to 62 Government House Road, Scarborough, Tobago. All items reasonably priced, friendly staff. If you don't believe me, you call them, 639-5329. If you ask them any question, they'll tell you. Jesus is the answer.
Don't let the weather of the day dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.
Hi, and welcome back. All right, so if you've just joined us, I'm Michael Short, and you are tuned into Mike at Night. We're really talking about a touching topic tonight, whether violence has any gender. And not only violence, a number of other things that take place in society where, in an effort to be able to take care of women as the nation and society needs to do. I don't want nobody leaving here saying that we have a problem with women being taken care of. We cannot leave the men behind. One of the worst situations you could find is a man who is disenfranchised, who feels left out, who feels as though he has nowhere to hide, nowhere to go, no safe space. If you have these boys on the streets, have you seen the age of these children who are being accused of murder and robbery and violence? When you have a society, when they feel as though they are being pushed into a corner and they unleash violence in a society, God help all of us. We live at a time where parents who bore their children, supported their children, are now afraid of their very children. What a way. Let's take this call and let's see who's on the line. Good evening. Hey, what's up?
All right.
Yes. This is Edison, is it? Yeah. All right. Let me make sure that everybody's getting you, because I'm not too sure everybody's getting you. Yes. Hold up, Edison. I don't think we have you. Let me try it again.
You hear me?
I'm hearing you. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to call in and kind of digress from where you were from your train of thought or anything, but I said before you go too far, let me call in.
Yes.
Yeah, I said before, Mike, you're my topic tonight because this is something I'm very, very passionate about. In terms of the the policing, as they're talking about the violence, the policing violence as it is a man only issue. And a lot of the aggression, the aggressive issues that going on in society is a man only issue, and that is not the fact. Um, and something else that we need to remember in that if it is that we're saying that we're going to uphold women and protect women, who are we going to protect them from? Are we going to protect them from animals? No. The issue, if it is that they're saying that the women have an issue with men, then we should be putting our resources and putting our efforts into making sure that men are taught, uh, and, you know, uh, and socialized to take up the responsibility, take up the mantle to protect women, as instead of empowering the women and leaving men and boys behind. You understand? You spoke about the boys. I remember I went down to Trinidad when Beaton was having protests, and when he was passing on the bus route, is because we could see 12, 13-year-old boys running in the street bareback, bringing tires onto the road to burn tires. You understand? And I'm like, where are the empowerment programs for these boys? Why isn't First Citizens Bank or Republic Bank not doing empowerment programs for these boys? You understand? To make them boys feel like if they are welcome in society and they can achieve something. You don't see those things. You don't see those girls doing those things. It's the little boys doing those things.
You know, when I was trying to promote an International Men's Day event across the Caribbean because I'm the Caribbean coordinator of International Men's Day, and I was trying to promote a program for men. And there was a particular country that I called, a particular country in the Caribbean, and they were prepared to back it. When they went to look for International Men's Day, they could not find it, and they backed out because now they are wondering, is this a scheme? So you're not. This is why you're not going to get backing. You're not going to get it until those in power start to say, listen, if we're talking about equality, if we're talking about doing this thing right, we cannot ignore the men. We cannot ignore the women. There must not be any issue that we have to be fighting in order to be recognized in the whole scheme of things. When you do a program, do a program for all.
It's true. And I always tell anyone who would hear me, this problem will not get solved by leaving men behind. It is not. You will not reach anywhere by leaving men behind. If you are identifying, I mean, it's true, Mike. It's proven already by psychologists, by most of them, women. What's a aggression, outright aggression, right? But if it is that we're saying that we are the more aggressive gender, then it will be more beneficial to us as a whole as a society for us to be able to deal with that in a constructive way instead of
Okay, I don't know how my microphone got muted, but all kind of things happen. Ted Jones is with us. Good evening, Ted.
Good evening, Mike. Good evening to all the listeners and the viewers.
Right.
Very
All right.
interesting topic this afternoon.
Let me just give the telephone number 387-7553, 387-7553. So I showed you two videos. Does gender violence have a gender? When we're looking at things, we have to also not therefore ignore any side of the issue and the situation. All right, so let's go to this next film or this next video. This next video, shocking.
I said she going Sunny's Road. That I did not approve. I said no. I don't even go to the toilet. She leave and she gone. I called them. Come back. They say no. Eh? You see me? Watch it.
Those are expletives that you're hearing being knocked out.
She got on Monday 28. And today, Friday, when I put on the most picture, then she called and she asked. She said, sister, wanted to come home. What is good, eh? Yeah. You watch it.
And that's a Bible she's beating her with.
Testament.
Now, this is not easy to watch, people, but we need you to understand the issues that are going on.
She and me worrying, I can't sleep. But she too big now. Because she have a little breast and a little.
She even challenges the police to come and get and try to deal with it.
You know what? She lies. To me. I want to break it.
Okay, all right. I think we've had enough of that, and that went on ad nauseum. Wow.
Hey.
Ted, talk to me. Telephone number 387-7553, 387-7553. Does violence have a gender? Well, we need to talk about what is happening also with our women and with our girls. Ted, have you seen this video before?
No, I never saw the video before, Mike.
Tell me, give me your feedback on it.
It's horrible. And of course, to answer your question based on videos like that, obviously, to me, yeah.
I think you need to speak closer into your microphone.
Oh, yes, no, I'm saying definitely, to me, that violence has no gender. You know, what I think happens, Mike, though, is that the treatment or the categorization of violence has a gender.
Or the categorization.
Categorization of violence has a gender. The levels at which violence is looked at and how violence is treated and punished, that has a gender. Right? But
okay.
Violence in itself has no gender.
Okay. All right, so the telephone number 387-7553. Give us your feedback on this video that you saw. We did not want to have to carry it on too long because I think it is just to make the point. And so let us hear from you. 387-7553. AJ says UN don't support male development. Well, we still have no idea why they have not taken it on board. No idea.
But certainly for November 19, they somehow find some value in toilet development, though.
Well, I wonder who advocated for the toilet day. Somebody must have advocated for it. I don't know if a government has to advocate for a day, but I know I am told by the head of International Men's Day, the founder, the Dr. Tilak Singh, that letters have been written already asking it to be a recognized day, and with no positive response so far. Yeah. So there's where we at. Okay. Yes, yes. What? Tell me, what do you think is causing so much of the issues regarding men to be treated in a different context? And also, for example, before you came on, we spoke about this woman who has been released pending investigations with the first. Did you see the first video?
Yes, yes, I
Right.
yes, that's the first one.
As to what would cause a situation like that for her to be released pending investigation. When if it were a man, we know for sure he would have been staying in jail. We know of men who have been accused of murder and would be in jail, and we know of women who have committed murder and are out on bail.
Yes, to me, I can't find the answers. I don't know if one of the things that sometimes occur to me is that because the concept of manhood, we so many men have grown up now to despise the concept of manhood, and or maybe despise is such a strong
I hear
word.
from the women also.
Yes, but they have almost as if they have to be regretful, or there is a sense of guilt about being a man, and I guess it's because of how manhood has been portrayed. It's just interesting that my wife and I were talking the other day about one of the murders, the murder of the teacher, and the teacher that murdered the girl, and my wife said something like, "Why are men like this? Women will no longer be feel safe." And I understand where she was coming from. However, the thing that I had to remind her is this: no, the man who perpetrated it has a name, right?
The man
And
who what?
the man who perpetrated the murder suicide has a name. And what we are to do is that we are supposed to the the crimes, so that we
Mm-hmm.
no longer make that when a man does, all men, it represents all men. But if a woman does something that is negative, then it is that woman, and then on top of that, society tries to find an excuse. If a man is unfaithful to his wife, he is bad. If a woman is unfaithful, then you have to find out, well, what is the man deficient in that causes the woman to be unfaithful? So there are always two kinds of scales, balances, that we definitely have to fix.
Ben. All right. So
Identify first and then fix.
387-7553 if you're calling from outside of Trinidad and Tobago. 868 is the code. 868-387-7553. Give us your opinion. Does violence have agenda? Not agenda. Does violence have a gender?
And maybe it have an agenda too.
Mm-hmm.
Or certainly the treating of it may have an agenda.
All right. So this texter says, "Don't take this wrong. I won't. I'll try not to. I'm seeing here that men feeling sorry for themselves and not looking at the bigger picture. It is women who always call meetings and talk about problems on how we can fix things and counsel others to be a better people, even in church. What does the men do for each other to become better citizens, husbands, and fathers? For the most part, who is doing the most violence?" Okay, so the texter is saying that there are things that women are doing to better women. Who's doing the things for men? makes sense. That makes sense to me because I really feel that a number of men are really silent, passive, and they are not getting up and advocate for their own interest. So, Texas, I did not take it wrong. I think I see and understand where you're coming from. You are not saying that men really not getting support, but you are saying the very men are not supporting themselves. I get that. I get that from what you are saying, right? And the men are the ones who doing the most violence. But here's what: the men are doing the most violence. That's a fact. Let me tell you something else here. The men are also victims of the most violence. We have more men killed by violence, maimed by violence, than women. That is enough to say men are suffering under this whole thing about violence. Yeah, women are people who will, if they can defend themselves from violence giving men, most times help goes on deaf ears for women. Okay, right. They say that women don't get the support to protect themselves against violence.
I don't agree with that at all.
That they don't get help to protect themselves from violence?
Though I'm quite aware that there are many systems that that are in place for women to protect themselves. One of them, for example, was when a prime minister once said that, listen, you have to be responsible too for the type of men you pick, right? And he was almost hounded out for that. So the thing is that there are rules. There are times, I know Michael Stewart, you and I on a different place would have gone through many programs where we listed the things that women should look for in good men. I don't know that is even listened to. I think what happens is that women may feel the liberty to take whoever it is, and there are bad men out there, and there are bad women out there, and there are bad men. And if you don't take, according to old people, they tell him, they say that this is not somebody that you should go with, then it's a higher chance that you are going to become a victim of that. I also know that the laws and all kinds of things that are put in place are to protect women, right? So I understand that even laws are put in place that even when a woman accuses a man, they don't even need the evidence. They just know that they go in and deal with the man. So from that perspective, I don't agree, right? However, what I can tell you is that if men like Michael Stewart, men like Rondell Fields, men like myself, there are so many men that can advise women, right? Our sisters, our wives, our cousins, our children, about the type of man to avoid. And you guys can actually say, okay, as much as I like this dude, I think I'm going to lean on the advice that I get. I think there'll be a lot less pain. Right? So I would just want to throw that in.
In all fairness to the texter, I think the texter is talking about getting help for women against violence. About, and I don't know if the texter is referring to supplying them with things like pepper spray and this kind of thing to be able to protect them on the violence. I don't know. Okay, let me go to the Facebook. Edison said in a private groups for men empowerment and improvement. He said he's in a private group for men for empowerment and improvement. And Ted and myself are members of this group called Be Men, Be Male Examples Now. So we are part of that group, and we try to support men. And what we need are men who want to support themselves. So if there's any man out there who wants to be part of the group, please give me a call anytime that you get a chance. Contact us so that we could be able to, because we have some plans coming up for World Day of the Boy Child for May 16th. AJ said there are programs for men, but the marketing of the programs tend not to reach those who need it the most. We have had because of the bad outlook of men organizing. Yes, violence has no gender, but they are just human. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the program. Let me just remind you of our poll. Let me ask them to make sure that people get a chance with the poll. See, we come live with the men and two different persons. People hide who they are until they live with them. I'm not too sure what Lamini means by see me come live with. Oh, sorry, not live. See me come live with me. All right, I think I get it now. Two different persons. People hide who they are. That's right, until you live with them. Absolutely, Lamini. That is so true.
And that's both sides of the fence. It's not like the men.
Of course. Okay, who gets more social support? Men. What do you think the result is, Ted? 0. Women, 83%. Equal support, 0. And 17% of people said they don't know. So we know for sure the men did not even get in the equal support part. They didn't get in the none.
You know, sometimes with these polls, sometimes people make a mistake and put the wrong answer.
No. But that's what the poll said. So clearly, the support goes for women, and nothing is. I want to say that we are happy for the women getting the support. We are saying, let's give our men support. So we have some programs coming up for World Day of the Boy Child. You're going to hear more about that. We have some programs coming up for Father's Day, and we have programs coming up for International Men's Day. We're going to do what we can. We are asking men to stop sitting by because your sons will suffer through this new era that we see. So let's be part of their lives to give them a chance to be able to live and feel like men in this society and this world, so that we don't be having our boys cowering and being ashamed of how they're operating, etc. All right, let's take this call and then hello, good evening.
Meaning in protectance, not for violence and pepper spray and those things. When I was talking about protectance, I was talking about a woman may be violated. She may go for help, like for any police station, even from a family member. But oftentimes she's not supported because other family members are afraid to get into her business, and they also will get into trouble. Most likely from the guy. And sometimes the police send you away and say, listen, I don't want to deal in family matters. If you're really serious, do so. And that woman might have children. So she end up back in the same home that she has been treated badly with the guy. And I just want to add, I don't agree with the other speaker where the woman choosing men is concerned for the most part. And the reason is that men will show their best qualities. Even they did something in the past, they will show everything that they change, and they are not that type of people. Over a period of time, you're not seeing the cruelness in that man. You're not seeing how he treating you badly. Is sometimes after marriage or years in the relationship, then these things happen. So women don't always see these things in men at first.
Caller.
Let's say.
Caller.
Are you hearing him? He's trying to respond to you.
You hearing me?
No, I'm not hearing him.
Oh, no. Okay, no. Okay, well, Ted, say it and let me tell her what you said.
Okay, so what you're saying is this.
I'm going to translate what he said.
All right. Exactly because the woman may not be able to see the hiddenness behind the man.
Okay,
exactly because the man may be hiding his true self. Why the lady needs
I'm not hearing, so
advice.
Must get cut off again.
No, he's saying that it is because that the woman is not seeing the hidden intent of the man. I think that he's saying that there should be a greater ability to discern or work out some of these things,
With all
that we must be able to pick them up.
right.
We have to help our women to be able to pick them up when it comes along.
I will give a quick
Yes,
example.
this is why women have the meeting, because this is all the help an older woman will give to a younger woman and experienced women will give to each other.
And
This is what they will do.
men
Right?
will
So
give
what I'm saying is that is the men doing these things to train the other younger men to be better people.
Those of us are trying, but it's a small group of
yes.
persons trying. So what we're trying to do is expand that.
No, and
Yeah.
Michael, just to
Right,
answer.
have a good night.
Thank you
I'm
very
calling
much.
from Canada, by the way.
Sorry?
I'm calling from Canada.
Oh, this caller is from Canada, Ted. Thank you very much for calling. We appreciate that.
Thank you. But Mike, let me
Yes.
say, because I understand where she's coming from. Now, I don't know. I know in Canada it may be a little bit different simply because the nature of the societies are such that you don't necessarily get into other people's business. I think a very good quality that we have always had in terms of our society growing up would have been that a society would have gotten involved in the general protection of someone. I would just give an example. I remember there was a young lady.
Just remember, we are after our time already, and we don't want the director falling asleep on us.
Exactly. So I really would finish this quickly. She said to me, one of the pastors put her on to talk to me about this guy that she felt that she was in love with. And I told her when I looked at him, I interviewed the guy. He said yes, he goes to a big church and he's very active in church. And she was so proud of him. When he came to the church we were in, I saw him. He was totally, you know when somebody's in a custom with the encounter with God, and he was totally not showing any of those signs. So I told her, listen, what I think this guy is saying is not exactly who he is. But remember, she is a woman of the 20th century or 21st century. She doesn't have to listen to our advice. However, this person turned out to be extremely abusive, right? Thank God that we as men were still there to help her out of the situation that she should maybe never have gotten into.
All
All
right.
right. And what I'm
Okay.
saying is that we need to find ways, honor our men too, honor our fathers, honor our men in society, and help them. You like a guy? Don't listen to other women about a guy. Listen to men you respect. Find out what do they think about this man. Right? And that, I'm telling you, is a very powerful tool that women have.
Okay. All right, nice. Let me just wrap up with some of these statements there. People around you will see the red flags, says AJ. She can contact a Voice of Men 316 Canada. They do programs for men. Right. Well, remember now, she's not the one asking for the men's program, She's saying that men should have a program for themselves, AJ. A lot of people, says Lyndon, prefer a stranger than a long-time friend or partner. That is so true. Charmaine said, because Joe, they see something in their friend is not right. Okay. So let me see. Sometimes you may say that person is not for you, but love takes over and the individual doesn't listen until it's too late. I think they were referring to what Ted was saying, that sometimes we get into relationships before having to think it through. I heard one speaker call it investigate before you invest. And that makes sense. Okay. All right. So let me thank our sponsors, Tools Cool Center, WB Enterprises, and Rapid Response Security Services for making today's day possible. And as we said, the poll that asks who gets more support from social, the society, and from social, well, they said over 80 something percent, I think it was, or 70 something percent said. 83% said the women get the support. Yep. Men, they said 0, And this is people answering, and 17% said that they don't know which. It was a good program. Thank you very much. I want to thank Ted Jones. Sorry that we did not have Randall Fields on. The last video that we saw there with the woman beating the girl with the Bible and cursing for a little bad word, I have no idea what kind of brain is going to do that. So that's certainly a family that needs help, and we need to be able to reach out to them. You know, one of the things that we have is that if a woman is in danger, there are safe spaces, safe houses that a woman could go to. The governments have that they deal with. But the question is, where does a man go if he feels unsafe with the relationship he's in? Where does he spend the night? You see, that is not catered for in the scheme of things. All right, Charmaine asked if we could have a part 2. Lamini said a frustrated brain. Yeah, it has to be. When you see these things happening, that sometimes people have really gone to the brink, you know, and so part of it is really reaching out to help some of these people and restore them. Because, oh yes, Ajay is saying, when you take a woman, I guess it is when you take a woman to a safe space, she cannot take her son to the same safe house. If it was a girl, she could take the girl, but not the boy. Yeah. All right. Thank you all very much. We thank you so much. We'll see you all next week, Thursday. Take care. God loves you. So do I. Ted Jones. Have yourself a wonderful evening now. Sorry that we didn't get Randall Fields on. He would have given you a good understanding of some of the challenges that we have outside of there. See you all.
Bye.
In today's society, we need security that is trustworthy, reliable, and efficient. Rapid Response Security Services Limited is here to meet all your needs. Since 1990, this security company leads while others follow, with a commitment to provide satisfaction in service. We specialize in modern and professional security systems. Contact us at 639-3675 or 660-7418, or visit us at the Blue and White Building, Mount Mary, Scarborough, Tobago.
Double B Supermarket, 60 to 62 Government House Road, Scarborough, Tobago. All items reasonably priced, friendly staff. If you don't believe me, you call them, 639-5329. If you ask them any question, they'll tell you. Jesus is the answer.
Don't let the weather of the day dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.